I'm going to keep this simple. Jacob Rees Mogg was raised by Callum, and he's somebody, Steve, who a lot of people who call in and text and tweet this show talk about Jacob Rees Mogg. What do you make of Jacob Rees Mogg?
I know Jacob. He's very impressive, particularly one of the best thinkers, I think, in the conservative movement on a global basis. You're very blessed to have a number of great thinkers. If you had told people in the United Kingdom, in Great Britain, that 2 years after they voted for Brexit, we would be here with this white paper. Yeah. And we'd be here today having this conversation, and that the Prime Minister would be going on the Marr show and giving kind of that watered down, half in, half out, and actually saying, implying in the today's Times, right, in the Telegraph, that, hey, this thing may not happen, and we're going to have to see what goes on with it.
Yeah, it's my way or the highway. Stick with me, or we may not have Brexit.
May not have Brexit, which is always a signal. That's what they're signaling, okay? So I think people are being shocked. There are a number of great thinkers. There are a number of great guys, obviously, in Commons. There are speakers. I think now, remember, on Trump's inaugural speech, we went through a list of things, and then his most powerful line, I don't think, was American carnage. We went through a whole list of things the elites had done to the United States, and then he came and said, now comes the hour of action. Right? That's what we started off, blowing off the football in those first couple of months of the administration, hitting EOs every day, etc. It just seems to me it's now time for action. Talk is over. It's time for action. So whether it's Jacob Rees-Mogg or whether it's Boris Johnson or David Davis.
Would Boris Johnson, in your opinion, be a better Prime Minister than Theresa May? I mean, you've met Theresa May, haven't you?
I have.
And? What do you think of Theresa May?
Look, like I said in my interview the other day, she seems perfectly nice enough. I just go back to the Marr interview she just gave this morning when she was talking about the guidance President Trump gave her. I mean, this is the most, first off, the Brexit was the biggest event in democracy in the history of the British people, okay, to vote to get your independence back. It was a huge thing and should have been taken very seriously of get on with it. She said that Trump told her, sue the EU. But she said it in such a way as like to not basically get what he was saying. What Trump is saying when he uses litigation, because Donald Trump is very litigious. Litigation, if you had read Art of the Deal, right? Litigation is a weapon. It's a tool. It's when you go in hard. And I think what Donald Trump told her is that a deal like this has got to be done hard, it's got to be done fast, it's got to be clean, and it can't take a lot of time. The most important thing he said in the Sun interview, I thought, was deals that take a long time have two aspects to them. Number one, they normally don't get done, and number two, if they do get done, they're normally bad and tough to fulfill because you've got so much back and forth. I think she missed the central point of Brexit, which was independence. And so I think, I'm not British. I can't make the decision, but I got to tell you, someone like Boris Johnson or someone that can come in with bold action, because what they're doing right now to me is pretty obvious. They're just playing for time. You saw it today in her comments that, whether we do leave or not. And I believe they're just going to kick the can down the road for the British people, and sometime in the fall, some sort of crisis will come along with the Goldman Sachs and the McKinsey and all these guys in the City of London, right? And they're going to say, let's waive Article 50 and just kind of see what happens in the next couple of years. Did Boris Johnson and you work together? Do you know Boris very well? Yeah, he came over immediately. Boris came over in the first, I think, week or two to meet with Jared and myself in Trump Tower. We spent a lot of time with him, got to know him over the last year. I've always been very impressed with Boris.
Will Boris use the knife tomorrow? Will he stand up in the House of Commons, in your opinion, and try and get rid of this Prime Minister? It's
a binary function. I mean, it's if he's to have a future and to be a leader, you got to go in there and say, hey, I'm offering an alternative. Whoever's with me is with me. If you go in and just give some sort of watered down thing, I think the British people want bold action. They said that when they voted for Brexit. They understood, the working people in the middle, people in Middle England, they understand it's all kind of complexity, it's all kind of details to the deal. But what they wanted was very simple. They wanted out. They wanted their independence.
Will Boris give them independence?
We'll have to see. I got to tell you, if you look at his letter, if you look at him and his writings, you look at his book on Churchill. He's a student of Churchill. I mean, this is the inflection point. This is a defining moment.